Find yourself in the Beachview area of Pittsburgh? Check out the official pizza of this show, Slice on Broadway, sharing an abnormal obsession with pizza we can relate to. Check them out at sliceonbroadway.com and tell them this show sent you.
Hungry as fuck, but I ain't starving yet. Chain for the pain, cocktail dollar set. Never said I was a gangster or thug, but I'm an animal. Peanut for the taste of the floor.
Hey guys, it's the Indy Mayhem Show, episode 74, coming at you here from Pittsburgh, PA. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitters, producer here with the some local promotions, some documentaries as well, all kinds of fun stuff going on at sorgatronmedia.com. And look out, of course, for IndyWrestling.us coming soon. But with me is my cohort, my compatriot in the Indie Wrestling Adventure. He's a commentator down at Inspire Pro Wrestling in the Austin, Texas area, and he's coming at us from Corpus Christi himself. He's Eamon Payton. Eamon 2, please, on the Twitters if you want to hit him up.
Hello, Sorgatron. How are you this evening?
Good. You with us? You're awake.
I am awake.
You're excited.
This is the late show, so it's always fun.
Guys, we're back to the late show. We don't have two interviews, although I think Sugar Dunkerton was enough energy for everybody for a while. So
definitely.
It was great to see all those guys at Super Indies past weekend. We'll talk about that. Have some guests on later in the show that were in attendance, that were under production like I was, unfortunately, to really kind of absorb what happened that night. But in the meantime, please check out everythingwrestlingmayhemshow.com, including this and other shows talking about all kinds of pro wrestling. And you can, of course, subscribe to Indie Mayhem Show on your iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Daily Motion. Look for it on all those platforms. Subscribe to it, comment on it, share it with your friends. Anybody out there you think should check out Indie Wrestling or learn more about it? I'm hoping we help you guys further that conversation about what's going on out there. Big thanks to our friends BasicSickness.com for the intro outro music for this and the Wrestling Mayhem Show, the main Wrestling Mayhem Show. Great music, great guys. Worked with him for several years here in the Pittsburgh area, and support some free music over there as we're supporting indie wrestling as well. Independent music is important too. And of course, you can join us here live. We start the wrestling conversation at 9 p.m. Eastern Time at live.wrestlingmayhemshow.com. And we get to this show around about 11 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll let you do the math wherever you're at. And so much more. So let's get right into it there. Eamon, who do we have this week?
This week we got a very special guest here on the Indie Mayhem Show that I wanted to have on for a little while now. He actually recently debuted for Inspire Pro Wrestling at our last show, and that's my first chance getting to see him perform live. But he has been traveling all throughout the Midwest and even further than that. Has had some really great showings as of late, and definitely wanted to get him on to sort of share his story. Joining us this week on the Indie Mayhem Show, Kid Gorgeous Donovan Danhausen. Donovan, how are you this evening?
I'm pretty good. Tired, but everyone is. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing really good. With you on this week. I guess the first question we kind of start everyone off with on this show is, what is your first ever memory of professional wrestling?
That would have to be either the New Age Outlaws shoving Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie off the stage on Raw,
Nice.
or Kane ripping the cell door off and debuting. One of those two.
Those are pretty good.
I can't remember which one.
So you were kind of would you say you were kind of got around that time of like the Attitude Era and stuff like that?
Yeah, somewhere around like 1997, somewhere like right around there.
Awesome. And what was it? I guess what was it about wrestling that sort of caught your eye? I mean, obviously, besides those things you just mentioned are kind of eye catching to say the least. But
I grew up. My dad made me watch horror. Well, he didn't make me, but we watched horror movies all the time. So obviously, like, Kane appealed to me, and Chainsaw Charlie, chainsawing himself out of a wooden box. I don't know, reminded me of Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, yeah,
nice,
that probably caught my eye, as the theatrics of it.
Awesome, really cool. So going into sort of your start in wrestling, how did you decide that you wanted to become a professional wrestler? I know that you trained under Truth Martini and Jimmy Jacobs, but how did you sort of get to that point where you decided I wanted to do this?
Well, I've always wanted to do it since I was a kid, but I didn't know how to go about it. and then I found out Truth School was actually like a mile away from my house.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah, so a friend told me about it because I was telling him I wanted to become a wrestler. And he's like, actually, I looked it up, and Truth Martini has a school, and it's like right by our houses. So he got me on there.
That's awesome.
So we went together. Yeah, we trained a little bit together. He didn't get to finish because of some health issues, but you know, he's the one who got me in. So that's how I found out about that. It was kind of just luck.
Awesome, yeah. So were you familiar at all with their work on the independents or stuff like that? Or did you know a lot about indie wrestling before, like you said, you kind of found out about
that
this?
time, I'd known kind of about it, but I didn't have access to it at all. I don't know. I don't have a computer, so I can't like download anything, or I have my phone. That's about it. I don't even have a TV. I don't have time. But yeah, no, I would go to Ring of Honor shows here and there. So that's how I knew about that. But aside from that, I had to watch just, WWE.
Awesome. Definitely. So what was it like training under them? Did you think it was, did you find it to be harder than you once thought, or what were some of the things that, you sort of learned through your time of training besides how to actually be a pro wrestler?
Yeah, it was kind of what I expected. I went into it expecting it to be really hard. So I already had that going well for me just because I knew what to expect, sort of. It was really hard though, but it was great training under Truth and Jimmy. And I'm glad I got to work with Jimmy before, he moved on and got his job in the WWE.
Yeah,
so that
definitely.
was cool because I got to get some ring time in with him and everything. And then just the guidance of Truth. He's great. He's a genius. So, it was, I couldn't have asked for a better school to go to.
Yeah, it seems like that area and that school in particular sort of is producing a lot of really great talent over the years. And
if I could
going
put,
into because
go
ahead, sorry.
if I could point out, I actually got to visit his school when we were working on a project here a couple years ago. It's nice because it's one of those schools that's not in a storage locker, so he's got a really nice facility up there. And definitely, and of course, this is up in the Detroit area for those unfamiliar as well. So.
Yeah, no, it's great. We had guests come in, Saban's been in there, Jay Lethal was in there.
Nice.
Colt has been in there. So, it's true. So he's got a lot of friends, and they're always willing to come help out, which is great. They help out the younger guys. They helped out me.
Awesome. Really cool.
So they're always there willing to lend, advice and everything.
Yeah, definitely. Now I know. How long has it been since you I guess started in wrestling? Would you say?
Well, here's the thing. I trained about 2 years ago. I didn't do anything with it for the longest time, so I went and kind of retrained myself. I would say 7 months ago. I did a few shows here and there within that 2 years, but that was it. I don't really count that at this point. My real start was about 7 months ago. So I'm only about, I'm not that far in as of right now.
Yeah, but I would definitely say in those 7 months, it seems like you've gotten a lot of really great opportunities and gotten to showcase yourself. A great deal,
absolutely. I'm trying to make up for lost time since I wasted so much. So I'm really pushing myself. I've gotten, lucky to have the opportunity to work with Johnny Gargano and Ricochet and Cody Deaner, guys like that. I don't know, pretty early on, but it's definitely helped and benefited me, and they've been great. So.
Definitely, and for someone also so young in, I know you mentioned a lot on your Twitter and stuff like that. So you're traveling as well, because I know you're working a lot of different places. Obviously, you came down for Texas, and you'll be down for Texas this weekend as well. But throughout the Midwest, and I think you even went to Toronto not too long ago. If I'm not mistaken.
I'm back in Toronto in 2 weeks.
Awesome.
So yeah.
So what is it like, kind of getting on the road like that, and sort of traveling and getting to work all these different places?
See, that's what I like about it is I get to travel and see. I mean, I don't want to say the world, but I've been to Canada. That's kind of it's a different country. It counts a little bit. Yeah, no, that's part of what I like is being on the road and seeing things. Because otherwise, a lot of guys, it's fine, but they stay around their areas. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. But I want to go out. I want to see everything. to work, wrestle new people and get every possible, thing out of wrestling that I can.
Definitely. And it kind of takes back to our we had an interview last week, as we mentioned, with Sugar Dunkerton, and he mentioned a lot about sort of the travel and stuff like that of how important it is. But I think for somebody that's obviously so early into this as you to sort of get that traveling under your belt is got to be a big thing. Was that something that was kind of instilled to you as well by Truth and stuff like that about going out and traveling?
Yeah, he said go out, travel, keep learning, keep wrestling different guys. He's like, that's how you learn. You wrestle more and more and more and more and more in different areas. You learn all the different styles. So I said, no, that's absolutely what I want to do. Like I drove out, I did the training camp with Ring of Honor and worked with Adam Cole and Delirious, and it was great. I learned a ton from them. Like, I don't mind traveling. I drove there by myself, so.
And I think, yeah, I mean, that's just something I think I hear a lot all the time. It's just about the whole idea of getting out and traveling. It's kind of I think an important thing, especially in wrestling.
Yeah.
Going towards, obviously, you're starting out, 7 months or so in. What are some of your bigger goals, at least for maybe a year or 2 years from now in wrestling, when it comes to maybe, people you want to face, places you want to work? Is there anything you sort of have in mind?
Yeah, if things keep going the way they are, and I keep getting these opportunities, which would be great, I'd really like to work Matt Sydal, which, hopefully that happens. That's one of my main people I wanted to wrestle. Yeah, I don't know. I want to wrestle over in New York. I haven't wrestled in Philadelphia aside from the camp. So I'd like to do that. I'd like to get over to California. Yeah, it's hard to say because I don't know. I never know what's going to happen. So, but
awesome.
those are the main things.
Definitely taking it as it comes. I guess one of our more common questions we have on the show for some of our guests is, what are you watching currently when it comes to stuff you study or just for recreation when it comes to wrestling?
A lot of William Regal. I like him. I like watching him a lot. Shawn Michaels. Really, I watch WWE. And Ring of Honor. I've got some friends over there, so I like watching them. It's cool to see them on TV now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's, I study guys like Regal and Shawn Michaels. So just definitely their old matches.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, kind of to get like a wide range of like Ring of Honor stuff, but also like the stuff you see on the mainstream. I guess another important question would be, it's kind of something we ask to some people when it comes to people's idea of their aspirations. Is WWE a big goal for you? Is one of the things like?
Yeah, absolutely. That's always been the end goal. That's 100% where I want to go.
Yeah, because I know sometimes with indie wrestling, sometimes people want to make it and sometimes we've even discussed on the show if WWE is always everyone's end goal.
Yeah.
But that seems to be your way. You want to kind of get on that as high as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the top. That's where I want to be. I want to be on the top.
Definitely. Absolutely. And kind of one of our questions that we also ask, and feel free to take it in any which way. People tend to take it in many different directions. But since we are a podcast about indie wrestling, we kind of want to find out, in your opinion, what do you think is the best thing and the worst thing about indie wrestling?
The best thing is, honestly, I know I keep saying this, but the traveling. I just get to see a bunch of places that without indie wrestling, I would not get to see. Most likely, I'd probably be stuck at like a job somewhere and just, not moving, just staying still, which I don't like. I like to move. The worst thing is also sometimes traveling, because if you blow out your tire on the road on a 20-hour drive, that's not very fun. Or for example, instead of a 9-hour drive to Philly, it took 13 hours because there was a blizzard. So I had to power through the blizzard, make it there. I think I got an hour of sleep in my car, and it was -5 degrees outside. And I wound up to waste time. I paid for a movie ticket. I found the longest movie, and I slept. And then I went and did this camp. So yeah, that's probably the worst thing. Traveling is the best and the worst.
It's
at
kind
the
of
same time.
And it's sort of also what we kind of talked with Sugar about. Sort of that indie wrestling lifestyle where it's kind of. I guess a better question is like what kind of compels someone to be like, yeah, I'll do those, like a 20-hour drive or whatever, to go on this wrestling show. Is it just sort of a wrestler mentality? Is there anything behind it?
Yeah, I think so, because I don't know. I don't think it takes a lot to commit to that. Like, I'm going to drive 20 hours here for, whatever. Like, I get a great match out of it, but a lot of people probably wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you said, like my tire popped on the way down the 20-hour drive, but still, it was fine. It was all worth it at the end, and that's really, I think, what it comes down to. Is like hearing the crowd react to you, and if they liked you or didn't like you, either way, you're getting emotion out of them, and it makes it all worth it.
Absolutely. And that's a good attitude to have in this kind of a business.
Yeah,
definitely.
like I use the tire, like that whole thing, I used it to motivate me. I was like, you know what, I'm still going, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to put on the best possible match I can have. And that's the attitude I try to have.
That's the other thing. After a story like that, after something like that, be like, well, I did this one time, and I survived that. I can probably be okay with the next trip, right? Like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean that's nice that you have that like in the bank and be like, when somebody's like, oh, I gotta drive 2 hours to the show, and you're like, you know what, I did this one time, and then
2 hours is nothing to me now. That's what's great. It just keeps
Definitely.
like 3 hours is nothing, 4 hours is nothing. It's just now it's starting to stack up.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, definitely. And I can attest to that because that 20-hour drive did end in a really great match at Inspire Pro Wrestling. So I will attest to that. Well, thank you very much, Donovan, for being on the show this week.
Thank you.
No, definitely. If you have any upcoming events that you'll be appearing at that you would like to plug, or if people want to follow you on social media, feel free to plug away.
All right, yeah. I've got AEW Vanguard this weekend in Chicago. I've got Inspire on Sunday in Austin, Texas. And then next weekend I will be at Destiny Wrestling in Toronto. So, yeah, I've got Twitter is the Donovan Allen. That's Allen with the E-N, not the A-N. And then Instagram is I post wrestling pictures and stuff on there in my travels. That's the Donovan Allen 1. So, yeah, that's about it.
Awesome, very cool, and thank you again for coming on. And anyone listening who may be unfamiliar with Donovan, be sure to check out a local show if you see him on the card, because he is definitely an up and comer. You should definitely be keeping your eyes on. I've said definitely a lot, but hey, so
yeah, definitely.
Definitely. So Sorg, I guess it's time to dive into some of the stuff we're doing in the world of indie wrestling.
That's right, Eamon. We had a pretty big one over the weekend. One of the biggest shows of the year. A lot of talent involved in this. IWC Super Indy 14. And of course, whenever I work a show, it's kind of hard because I'm really enveloped in like doing the switching, doing a lot of the other stuff, making sure everything's going well on the video production side. And especially we had a couple of new guys on the camera, so I was even more involved in making sure they were in the right place and kind of teaching them as we go. So there's a lot of that just doesn't sink in from the show. And I really need to watch back of these and be like, oh, that was a good show, or I'll probably just hate all my camera work as I typically do. But anyways, I'm just very hard on myself. But anyways, so we had on two guys that were sitting second row at Super Indy, checking it out. I believe we had Bobby on here before to talk about his first ever indie show he attended, which was IWC last month for the dance. So he joins us again. Hi, Bobby. Welcome back to the show, Bobby FJ.
Hi.
Hi.
We went to a wrestling show this weekend.
You did, Bobby. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
It was awesome.
Also with us, his compatriot at the show is the Riz. He's a fellow correspondent on InsertCoinToBegin.com as well, and Riz plays games on the Twitter where he plays games. It's pretty self-explanatory. There you go. And now Riz, again, to requalify, he is a long time IWC fan. Been going for years, longer than I showed up in the company as a fan.
I'm trying to think. and trust me, that's hard to do. I don't think I've missed a Super Indy in a while.
Nice.
Nice.
Maybe there was one time, but yeah, I don't think I missed one.
Nice.
Well,
So-
not like one first Super Indy ever.
Mhm.
I mean, I started in 06.
So I mean, let's get into this. So we've of course been talking a lot about Super Indy in the last couple of weeks leading into it. It kind of shows you how big it is, at least for us going into it as fans of the product. But so what did you think? Let's go with you, Riz. Since you've been to a lot of Super Indies, I think it's hard to compare. I think it's hard to I don't think you're going to get a Super Indy that beats any other Super Indy at this point, as far as these tournaments go. These tournaments are the guys that are coming up. You know, I mean, guys like CM Punk, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels have been part of these things over the years, over the 14 years they've been doing it. How did this year compare?
This year, I think, compared really well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you meshed up, and even the finals represented it. You meshed up the future, the past, and the present of the talent that we have here in either Pittsburgh or in other parts of the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
You have guys from PWG coming over to wrestle here in Pittsburgh, in Elizabeth. It was pretty good. I mean, I felt comfortable being there and watching great professional wrestling. Even though I know there's some people who don't think it was that great, but it was still a really good showing by everybody involved. And are we allowed to say who won, or do you want to spoil that?
No, you can say. I mean, it's public knowledge. It's on the internet. You can say that.
Dylan Bostic.
Oh, you ruined it for me.
Yeah. I think he's coming up very fast.
Mm-hmm.
He has the gimmick. He
I had truffle butter in my head the entire drive back.
I know Sugar Dunkerton tweeted out that he had it in his head, and while tweeting that, and I'm like, and he had to listen to it the entire time he was there.
And to be clear, what was this that you guys were talking about?
His entrance music was
truffle butter. Yeah,
truffle butter. Truffle butter.
Yeah, that's what it is.
By Drake.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So, but honestly, like I said, the finals were Ray Rowe, Dylan Bostic, and
Alex Daniels.
Trained by Johnny Gargano. By the way,
he's gonna be a big star, I think.
He's
yeah.
I pictured him as what Facade was.
Mm-hmm.
He is fairly new.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be a little green, but his talent, allows him to hide some of that fact.
Right. Let me ask you. So there's they had a time limit draw, 15 minutes plus another. I think they give them 2 or 5 minutes on top of that.
2 more 5 minutes.
Yeah. They did it twice, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, that got so long. Him and Joshua Singh, I think his last name's pronounced. Both Johnny Gargano students, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And how. I was a little iffy after seeing that, and I've seen both of those guys before, and I think they kind of stretched it by making them do 15 minutes, to be honest. Mm-hmm. How do you think that both of them came off in general, in comparison, I guess, in this tournament, especially Alex doing 3 matches?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Bobby. I was
gonna say the first match last month with them. You could tell they were kind of getting Joshua Singh was really tired during it because it was a long match. Which,
it was.
Anybody would have been. They were both pretty tired. This was a really good match this time. I actually wanted them to go more with them too.
It wasn't a bad match.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Honestly, unless you're hearing something different, there wasn't really a horrible match on the card.
No. My biggest
wasn't.
problems is, and I understand why some of these things happen. Like I hate screw jobs in these tournaments, and you're going to have to do something like that because there's whatever storylines are coming up or anything
Heel's
like that.
gonna be heels.
Yeah, he's got to heal, man. And we're there was some stuff that happened to set up for Cage Fury. There's going to be war games. There's going to be stuff like that. But so we didn't get. I would have loved to see. I wanted to see a real Hentai versus Bostic match, and we ended up getting a Hurt Hentai versus Bostic match. So I mean, that's something that me personally, as a fan, I'm kind of disappointed because I love seeing Hentai go. He's a guy with history in the tournament. The first winner, I think he won a 10th one too, or something like that. And I'd love to see him just go at it with a new guy like Dylan Bostic, and unfortunately, because of how it turned out, it didn't happen. But that's fine. That's but there was plenty going on. I think it might have been not the biggest tournament that they've done numbers wise. I think it's they did a 2-day one a few years ago.
Yeah.
That I think had 16 people in it or something like that. So I think we had 10 or 11. I think in this one. So
It was 11. It was 11 because it was odd.
I think it was 11 because we had a bye.
Oh,
as well.
yeah, that's
So,
right. That's right.
But it felt very solid.
Mm-hmm.
It did.
It's very well put together.
And I think the crowd was into it really good, really well in the first half, and then you can see it trickle down a little bit, but they were still, really into it during the entire thing.
And it's a very long show. It clocked in, the DVD clocked in under 3 hours, of course, but you are fitting at least 12 matches in there.
But also you have to take into account that with these 12 matches, you're also getting probably you're going to get 9 wrestlers, or you're going to get 9 matches with 3 wrestlers in it. Wait.
What? No. I know what you're saying. You're going to see repeats.
Yeah, you're going to see repeats.
Right. Like we saw Alex Daniels 3 times. We saw Dylan Baskett 3 times. We saw Raymond Rowe 3 times, for instance. So you're saying that kind of.
I can't math today, so don't tell me math.
So Bobby, this is your second show of this level, I guess you could say, and arguably probably one of the better ones. So what were your kind of impressions coming out of it?
Going into it last month when they announced the participants, I had no idea who Trevor Lee and Andrew Everett were. And then out of the blue, I was listening to We Watch Wrestling podcast, and they were talking about the tag tournament in PWG.
DET4.
Yeah. And Matt McCarthy said, he's like, well, Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee are in this, so they're either not going to do well at all or they're going to win the whole thing. Well, they won the whole thing. And from there, I started learning more about these guys, and now watching both their matches. I mean, these guys can go. They're really good. I was really impressed with those two. Their match I thought was the best match of the night. With just the comedy in the match. I didn't think there would be any comedy in it, and it was hilarious. When he did the somersault and just rolled on top of him, and the whole crowd started chanting, "Holy, you know what?" It was one of the funniest moments of the night. I won't talk about the other funniest moment, but it was really good. It was a good show. Sugar Dunkerton and Cedric Alexander match was amazing. Even the local guys really did well too. I mean, it just wasn't the superstars they brought in that were having good matches. Everybody was. So.
Yeah, and this was weird for me because this was the first time I've seen a super indie just be about the tournament and have just one match in it that wasn't tournament related.
Yeah, and I thought that was refreshing. We weren't trying to cram more stuff in there. There was no world champion. There was no tag team champions represented. It was just about the Super Indy title. And I think in some aspect, because if you stick a world title in there, it's gonna be it's not the attraction.
No,
for the most part. And of course, understandably, you're not gonna have Tommy Dreamer at every show, who's the current champion there.
By the way, he's facing Rhino next time.
Which he's facing Rhino in a cage the next show.
Cage.
Well, not the next show, but the one in
the show after.
The show after. The
I
next
think my
big
friend
show.
might want to come to that.
There you go. Just to see
So we're
Rhino.
getting people on board.
That's tremendous, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was a perfect pacing, and they did have one thing in there to progress some story that's going on, because you can't just go 2 months without addressing certain things, right?
Yeah.
So,
which that was like one of the best parts of the night as well. When Joe Rosa come on, he's like, "What? Am I interrupting something? What's going on?"
yeah.
To just say he accepts the challenge, but it was pretty cool.
Because there was a bit of in the first match, there was a challenge laid down because they interrupted the match. The one guy lost, etc. Or no, wait, that was later. Actually, it was later in the night. It was later in the night when he took out Hentai.
Yeah.
And then it was a ongoing thread, and we tossed to Brittany in the back. Don't ask me how I felt about that, by the way. Where she's like, "We're going to check in with the situation, and if he's going to accept the challenge or not." And he just wanders out there and distracts Ray Rowe and gets him out of the tournament. Which it was fun to watch Ray Rowe just destroy an entire faction. But getting counted out in the process. But still. So I'm hoping, hopefully that sets up for him coming back at some point to right that wrong. You never know. You never know. You could end up.
He has his phone now.
He has his phone, so I wasn't going to tell.
When Ray Rowe tells you to look for his phone, you look for his phone. By God,
isn't Ray Rowe asking you if you have his phone the scariest thing in your life?
You stop whatever you're doing and you look for Ray Rowe's phone.
That was like legit one of the.
I was tearing down. He came over. I'm like, should I continue? I
was like looking everywhere for it. I was like, I don't know where it is, but I'm going to look for it.
Bobby's like, I'll look for it,
Mr.
sir.
Rowe, don't hurt us.
But so everybody had their experience with Ray Rowe. Other than that, I know. I wish we could have had her on too. She was on a Wrestling Mayhem show earlier, but that was actually Katie's first show. First indie show. She was at the Gathering of the Juggalos with me last year. That's a little different experience.
That's not an indie show.
It is an indie show, but I mean,
it's not. It's an experience.
It's an experience, but I mean, there are indie wrestlers there. I mean, the first thing was Kaiju Big Battle. Come on, give me a break. But that was a blast. But but anyways, so how's it hold up? You coming back, Bobby?
Yeah.
You would say you're coming to the
next. I want to come to the next two.
You're coming to Proving Grounds.
I would like to.
That's a smaller
Proving
show.
Grounds, I think, is an interesting show to go to because it is the newer talent initiative kind of thing.
Right.
And I think you could find someone you really like there. So
Right. That's where I discovered, I think, Alex Daniels last year. And I was like, oh, yeah. Then it was a few months before he came back. And I remember, like, I've seen this kid before, right? And
didn't Dylan Bostic do that too?
Did he come in? I don't know if he came in at Proving Grounds or not. We'll have to look at the rosters for them. They've done like 3 of them now, right? But it is interesting because like some talent from other feds, some talent that's, it really is like IWC seriously is. This is their NXT program basically, right? A lot of times the trainees debut at this one. It's a smaller show. It's not the big presentation that we do at Core Time. They're gonna kill me one of these months, by the way. It's smaller, it's a little tighter, it's out there at White Oak. There's barely any cell phone reception, damn it.
There's none.
It's just zero. You're not buying DVDs with a credit card, buddy. I'm sorry.
Well, guess what? I'm here with no cell reception in Johnstown, so
so it all works out.
I'm used to it.
Anyways, so check it out. Anything else? Any other things that stuck out for you for this show before we move on?
What else is there to cover?
I think that's about it.
Well, first, every time I think of like a good engine song that would be cool to come out to, somebody freaking takes it. Because Lee came out to Shake It Off.
That was amazing too.
But yeah, you can tell that Lee and Everett were teaming up before, because they even played it off during the match, like they're supposed to be friends, and you're supposed to be my buddy. I think even one time they said we're a tag team.
Yeah, I yelled, you guys are a tag team, you're supposed to be friends, and he yelled back, best friends hit harder.
That's
He
amazing.
looked like right at me too.
Yeah.
That wasn't the only interaction I had for the night though.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. LeBar, I was chanting HGH at Wardlow and the other guy.
Bill Collier.
And LeBar looked right at me and said, hey, at least you can spell. Yeah, it was funny.
That's amazing. That's
By the way,
amazing.
you say the darnest things.
Yeah. All right. Go check it out. Thank you guys for joining us and let us know your thoughts on Super Indy. Another fun show from our friends over there. Next, we got to get you guys to an RWA show.
Sword, no.
Yeah.
Sword.
You remember what happened to Riz last time?
Okay, maybe we at least get Bobby out there.
That moment.
We'll at least get Bobby out there. Riz,
I told Wills if they come to Greensburg, which they may.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did hear something about that. Maybe. Oh, yeah, I did hear. But I don't know if you're allowed to say those things. I don't know. You're not under the pro wrestling kayfabe NDA.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, no, that'd be awesome. That'd be yeah. But the reason we're saying this, Riz attended one RWA show, and that's when somebody's mother got pile driven in the middle of the ring. Not his mother. Not his mother. I want to make clear. It sounded weird, but still, it was a little weird there. But hey, by the way, there's something happening in Pittsburgh here. I just discovered this. The AP.
Yeah, sorry, I just saw that when you posted that.
Yeah. So I got a note from somebody who might be involved in this. So they're like, "Hey, did you know
somebody once told me."
No, not topical.
I know.
Don't make me throw bread at you, Bobby.
It was from a fellow named Don West.
Don West.
That guy.
No, not that one. It's not
He
that
sold
one.
Swords on QVC.
I double checked it. It's not that one.
That Don West.
But anyways, he hits me up, and there's apparently a show happening. Thanks, Chris Russo, for giving him a heads up and passing it along here. So if nothing else, we'll probably check it out, and I don't know, when I'm talking with them, see if there's any opportunities. But there is a commercial going around. Where's it at? Where's my thing? Bobby, you're not the video. There it is. But Japanese wrestling, they're actually doing a tour, including PA, West Virginia, North Carolina, and Georgia, between the 23rd and the 28th of June. So it's really right there around the corner. They have a lot of guys from Wrestle One involved in this. So if you are into some, including the Great Muda.
Wow.
That's Sonny Ono. Holy crap. So if you're digging on this Japanese wrestling, this everything going on here, and plus it looks like a great roster of guys, guys we know like Facade, and some other Madman Pondo's a part of this as well. Kevin Sullivan's going to be part of this. Looks like the Barbarian's going to be part of this somehow. So check it out. It's going to be in the area here in Bell Vernon, but like I said, there's a bunch of other places. Facebook APWAWrestling.com if you want to check out more information. But it's right in the backyard. It's a decent price for the tickets. I think it's worth checking out. So please go check that out. APWAWrestling.com. Also, I think I just got booked, as in somebody's bought tickets that said you're coming with me to AIW's Absolution. Next month, which includes I want to get this right. I know one of the names on the top of the bill is Samoa Joe.
What?
No, Vader's on that card.
Against Vader. Is it versus Vader?
No, he's not versus
Okay.
Vader.
Man, you had me worried there, Heyman.
Are there not matches listed for this one yet?
There are a few. There are a few matches listed. I know they're doing a 10-man tag street fight with dudes on TV, including Samoa Joe.
Nice.
Against Young Bucks, Gargano, Prohibition, Alex Daniels. Will be on that. There's some.
This is what I was shown. So
Yeah.
featuring Samoa Joe and Vader. It's going to be up there July 10th, and apparently I have been reserved to go to it. So
And if I'm not mistaken, there, Eamon, that the dudes on TV is there. It has Samoa Joe and Ray Rowe on the same team,
and Matt Cross.
and Matt Cross.
And last I knew, Zima Ion was on it.
Yeah, and
Also
DJZ.
awesome that a lot of them are friends of the show, of this show. So we can also
But
rename that.
Just imagine. Oh, and EC3. Forgot about EC3.
Jeez, can't get much better. So
No.
So that's at AIWrestling.com if you want to check that out. Information on that show. We've narrowly, Eamon, you remember we narrowly avoided going to the AIW's Absolution that one year.
Yeah, because they were doing a double shot with the Chikara show.
Daniel Bryan was part of both shows. We got to see Daniel Bryan as part of the Chikara show, of course. This is the after the infamous tie incident when he was not a part of WWE. So AIW, if you haven't checked them out, they are always doing amazing things. A lot of the guys we know have been, did some stuff up there, including Jimmy DeMarco, Facade, Zima, Shima Zion, of course. And they always get guys like this, I mean, these are the ones. There's some great documentaries coming out of there about women's wrestling, intergender wrestling, including Ricky Shane Page being a part of that. Veda Scott and his crazy ass match with her crazy ass match with Gregory Iron, for instance. They're constantly making waves. They're getting recognized for it, and it's really, really cool to see. So, AIWrestling.com.
You also, I was going to say, as I'm looking at the card right now, you also get to see Tim Don's first match in professional wrestling since coming back from a scare with cancer against Nick Gage. So that'll be interesting.
Nick Gage?
Like CZW's Nick Gage. Like,
the original CZW.
Like recently released from prison, Nick Gage.
Whoa.
From legit prison.
Oh, jeez.
Legit
and
prison.
for you nerds out there,
For
your nerds out there, I got to point out there's a video of the girl that plays Bobby from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. plugging AIW.
Cool.
So Adrian Palicki. So that's cool. Mockingbird, that's the character that she plays. Thank you.
I just was going to assume that she played Bobby.
Yeah, you said
me.
No, her character's seriously, her
Mm-hmm.
character's name is Bobby on the show.
Bobbie.
I don't know.
Okay.
Bobi. Bobby.
Moby. It's like Moby only a lady.
Yes.
Lady Moby.
Lady Moby? What is happening? It's way too late. That's what's happening. We'll see if we can get you to an RWA. Wheels got to see you, Bobby. Come on, man.
I gotta see Wheels.
At the very least, cage match, and you get to meet Wheels. Let's do this next month, man. Let's make it. Let's make this happen.
Next month.
Leave Riz at home because the ladies get hurt when he goes out.
Yeah. And my heart gets hurt when the ladies get hurt.
There you go.
RZA don't hurt him.
RZA don't hurt him. RZA don't hurt him. RZA. Jeez, Eamon, is there anything else we need to talk about this week? I think that's about it.
Quick plug, though, for Clash of the Bash 2 that will be happening this weekend at Inspire Pro Wrestling this Sunday. We are throwing the biggest wrestling beach party extravaganza of the summer, and you should be at it if you're in Austin, Texas, or around Austin, Texas.
Are you going to wear your sailor's cap again?
I was thinking about it, but also this is kind of going to be like toga themed. So I don't know if there were sailors back in that time.
Smooth sailing, Eamon Payton.
Put the sea captain hat on and go in a toga.
By the way, we encourage toga attire for this event, and if you come in toga attire, you will be entered in a drawing to win free tickets for our next event. So be sure to do that. But yeah, and it's going to be a really cool card. Donovan Danhausen, who we just had on this week's show, will be on it. There's some really cool stuff all up and down that card. So yeah, definitely go check it out.
Okay.
Make it happen.
And that's all I got.
Yeah, Bobby, next up is we're going to get you to an Inspire Pro Wrestling show.
Okay. I'm down.
But you have to pay for your flight.
Oh.
Road trip.
Megabus.
Road trip.
Maybe I'll rent a pogo stick and go.
Okay.
So Bobby F. J. Town will be making it to Clash of the Best 9 in 2020.
I'll be wearing a toga on a pogo stick.
What's left of them. Anyways, on that note, indie wrestling is awesome. That's the moral of today's story. You can check out Indie Mayhem Show, WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Please drop us a line. Good times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. 412. No, we don't do that on this show.
We don't do that.
This is a serious show, Bobby. It's damn serious.
Jeez.
412-206-WMS0. Please check out everything at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Subscribe to this and all other shows. And check out these crazy ass guys on the Midweek War, where they're talking about all the Wednesday night stuff, including Lucha Underground. Next week, we are scheduled to have Mary Elizabeth Monroe. She's been waves in indie wrestling around the area and beyond, and she's a really, really cool person. Got to talk to her briefly at VW last time I was down there. Last month, I think it was, or the month before. So we'll have her on to talk about. We also have scheduled on the books the week before Ultimate Lucha. We are scheduled to have Chris DeJoseph, the writer for Lucha Underground, on the show. He's going to come hang out.
Before we do that, Sorg, because I know you aren't always on top of the Lucha Underground. It is Ultima Lucha.
Okay,
right.
Okay. I'm not caught up, and this is where we reveal I am not caught up with Lucha Underground. What?
Eamon's favorite thing is when I mispronounce luchadors' names.
Easily to pronounce.
So what another qualification is, we need to see if we can also book Antonio Garza to correct us on everybody's names during Mayhem Show and Indie Mayhem Show. When
Sorg suggested this right when we were watching Monday Night Raw, though, and I told him, "Hey, I know these people's names. It's just because I don't speak Spanish."
Yes. But you don't say the names as sexy as Tonio Garza does.
Or at least make a soundboard with all of
I don't know.
him mentioning the names.
Because I
play that.
Right, because I need more buttons to push in the studio here, Riz.
Yeah.
A lot of buttons. You've been here. You've seen the buttons.
I know some podcasts.
I've seen the buttons. You have not let me touch the buttons, but I've seen
No, you're not allowed to touch the buttons. No. I didn't even let Matt Carlins touch the buttons. And he works with a place with way more buttons than me. Sounds weird out of context. All right. Anyways, check out the Riz and Bobby F. J. Town, insertcointobegin.com, at Bobby F. J. Town, at the Riz, and at Riz Plays Games. Eamon, hey Eamon, you're Inspire Wrestling. You're the heart and soul of Inspire Pro Wrestling.
Oh no, that's not true.
That's not true at all. No. At Eamon 2, please, InspireProWrestling.com. Check out everything at PittsburghWrestling.com that we're working on here. And SorgatronMedia.com for everything not wrestling related as well. The other moral of the story is just damn support indie wrestling, okay?
Never said I was a gangster or thug, but I'm an animal. Beat for the taste of the floor. Sick, you know how I act now. If you got a problem, come and see if I'm a back down. Act wild.
Joe is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at SorgatronMedia.com.
Hi everyone. Do you like video games? Do you like reading about video games? Do you like listening to podcasts about video games? Why don't you check out InsertCoinToBegin.com? New articles going up daily, and you can check out our podcast, Boss Battle, on SorgatronMedia.com.